Welcome back to VW Farm. Well, converting this tractor over to 12 volt mainly for one reason. I have an alternator for it, and I'm doing a parade and we need it to power up some Christmas lights. It is a 6 volt system. It still works fine. Battery still cranks fine. But I have a battery and an alternator, so we're going to convert it, and then we're going to convert these lights to LEDs. I know they're not going to be original, but with a 6 volt light, when you hook it to 12 volts, you're going to burn the light out. Or that's what I read at least. So we're going to get started on that, and we're also going to decorate this tractor up, and then we're going to do the parade. So let's get started. You're going to have to excuse my messy shop. That's just the way it is. Been busy, it's been cold. But first things first, we need to get this hood off. Take the mushroom cap off. Alright, rookie me forgot to clear the SD card. I had to run inside and do that. So when you convert this to 12 volt, you have to convert the ignition as well. I have a new coil for that, so we'll do that too. Here's our old generator. We're going to remove this and then mount up our new alternator. Looks like we only have one wire, which is good. Make it easier, and that goes to the battery. I consulted my manual. I also have a repair book if I ever need to consult that. So we're going to take that wire off and then put the alternator in its place. I suppose though we should probably disconnect the battery before we do anything further. Probably should have been the first thing I did. Now that we got that pesky generator out of the way, but check this out. This right here, it's an oil flap. There's one in the front too. You don't see that anymore. Here's the alternator. This is off the other pony. We're just going to borrow it. You know, the one I've been doing a motor rebuild forever on. That's coming back up, by the way. It's on my list to do. I was speaking with somebody about converting these tractors over to 12 volt, and he said you don't really need to do it. No, you don't. But I found that I can buy an alternator and a new ignition coil for the same price I can get a 6 volt battery. So if I can get an alternator, an ignition coil, and spend a little bit of money on a 12 volt battery, then why not? A little bit more common, easier to find. You can jump it with a car. That's just me. We're all going to have differing opinions on that, but alright, I remember now, like the last time, I can't reuse the same brackets, so I have to make a new one. This bracket here is to keep the alternator, it's like an adjustment bracket, so you can adjust the tension on the belt. So we're going to have to make a new one of them. Shouldn't be too bad. I did some digging in my scrap bin, and I found this piece of steel. I had to give it it was originally a 90-degree bend. I straightened it out a little bit, and then I gave it a twist, and then I took the original adjustment, cut it down, blew a hole in the side of it, and I'll show you why. I'm hitting the original mount for the bracket here with this twisted piece. So I wanted that little kick to put it closer toward the motor so it would be out of the way in case I wanted to move this alternator inward for any reason. So then I gave it a twist, and I was going to weld this to this bracket, except when you move this alternator, this arches. So if I welded this bracket right to this post, I would have no way to adjust this bracket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nut and bolt in there So that way I have movement up and down in case the belt stretches, and I can move this back and forth. The reason why I didn't move or put the bracket in the front is I have these cooling fans here in the front for the alternator, and I would have to come up, over, and then do a bunch of bends. Just didn't want to do that. This was a better option, and I think it's going to work just fine. Get this bracket tightened down, and should be all set with that. Here's our ignition coil. I wanted to put a ballast resistor on it, but local store didn't have one, so I'm just going to put in a 12 volt coil, no external resistor required. So we're just going to use that. Now this was a positive ground system. We're switching it over to negative ground. So these are polarity sensitive, and the negative needs to go to the distributor and the positive needs to come from the ignition source. So we're going to make sure we wire it like that. This is still a good coil. I'm going to keep it just in case if I can find a ballast resistor, but we kind of need it today. Alright, now we just got to get the battery put in and we'll test wire it. These are old 6 volts, and here's the new LEDs, and there is quite the size difference. They're going to look a little funny, but we're going to install them anyway. Nothing wrong with the old 6 volt lights. You can always put in new bulbs for the 12 volt system, but honestly I kind of want to upgrade them to LED anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Well, I seem to be missing my 9/16 wrench. I don't know where that got off to. Checked the pants I wore yesterday. It's probably on the floor. But good thing a 15 millimeter works almost the same. Well, I had to run to the hardware store, pick up some bolts, because I couldn't believe it either. I didn't have any in stock here. This will hold the headlight mount. Here's our headlight. Get that screwed in and work on the other one. Got the lights mounted. Now we just have to get the wiring connected. Headlights are mounted. I have to clean up the wiring down below, but I grounded our negative right on that nut in there. You can see the wire going to it. Let's get the battery in and let's test out the new lights. Alright, I got the battery hooked in. Let's see how bright these lights are. Holy mackerel. Pretty bright for those small LEDs. I also have a 12 volt plug wired in straight on the battery for our inverter so we can power our Christmas lights. Let's get that stuff set up. I need to clarify because my wife, she keeps telling me I'm saying it wrong. It's a wreath, not reef. It's not in the ocean. So we got this. We're going to use these lights on the tractor, and we're going to use it as an extension cord so I can get to the inverter. And then we're going to hook up to the manure spreader, and then we're going to get ready for the parade. I'm excited. We got the bow to top it off. Got the deer, it says Merry Christmas on it. A classic old truck with a Christmas tree. Of course, you can't have a wreath without Santa Claus. This is a pre-lit wreath. I have Christmas lights all around the tractor. Power source inside our compartment. All we gotta do is hook up the manure spreader and then get going. I did not dress warm enough for this. Got a nice little lineup going though. Parade starts in a few. It's a VW Farm exclusive. You got Santa and Mrs. Claus. I love parades, but I hate freezing. Just went down Main Street and around the corner. Lots of smiling faces. I spent about a night and a day to get this tractor ready, and you know, those smiles is what it's all about. I'm really glad that I was able to do this for everybody. Now, I'm just part of the parade. There's a lot more that goes around. There's a lot more to it than just being part of the parade, and I'm just really glad that we have a good community here and have all these people out in the freezing cold to do this. It's a lot of fun. I think we look alike. He's up there.
There's a kid up there.
The big man's up there. Now it's time for the long journey home. The cold journey. Hi, Leah. Bye, Leah.
Here we go. Sort of like following a drunk redneck Santa back from the bar. Let me tell you, he has happier than a kid in a candy shop.
She's nice and toasty warm in that car. I'm out here freezing. A bunch of Scrooges live here. Oh wait, that's me. Dang it. That was a lot of fun. I can't express how much I love doing parades. I didn't realize that we were allowed to throw candy. I saw some candy being thrown. Maybe next year. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy making these videos, and I really enjoy my channel. And I'm so glad that each and one of you people are making this channel grow. I hope you have a happy holiday, and if I don't catch you by the end of the year, have a happy new year. Happy holidays from VW Farm.